Today, we are at Map Brewing, nestled in the foothills of the Bridger Mountains in Bozeman, Montana.
That's right, and we're talking to COO Loy Maierhauser about the inaugural Montana Beer Awards taking place February 22nd to 24th in Helena.
None of this appeals to me because I'm allergic.
Michelle's body rejects gluten, but they do sell food and sweatshirts inside.
I like that.
All right.
There's ice cream. I'm there.
She's convinced. We're here with Loy Maierhauser, which, amazing name.
Thank you.
It sounds like something you would just make up on the spot in a blind panic. Like it's not a real name.
Oh.
You're just like, oh.
She would be very creative if she came up with that in a blind panic.
Maierhauser.
I'm not sure if I chose that. I would choose to use every vowel
Yeah.
in my name, but
Yes. I think it's a
Yeah.
perfectly
You're a
wonderful name.
Human Wheel of Fortune guess.
yeah.
Loy
It's
Maierhauser.
very hard to meet people in loud places. It's very skewed.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They probably want to call you all kinds of things.
Yeah.
Lilith Bartonslebens.
So on
I would
the,
answer to that.
on the Map Brewing website, you say, I grew up working at a zoo, have had numerous restaurant jobs, taught elementary school, coached elementary school teachers, and bartended. Which of those is most similar to working at Map?
Sort of a combination of all of them. Children, zoos. No.
Yeah. No, I would
And I'm
imagine.
speaking mostly about wrangling the staff.
Coaching.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
you
coaching.
use all your skills.
I would say, yeah, this role is a lot of different skills that I've acquired through all the random things that I've done in my life.
And how long have you been here?
It'll be 7 years next month.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's
a good long
amazing.
run.
It's an amazing place. So people always, when visitors come to town, we're like, well, you have to come to Map.
Yeah, you
Especially
guys
if
are
you
a
like beer.
juggernaut.
Yeah.
It's
in this town.
definitely like the spot that people want to come. I mean,
Views are good.
I'm
beer's
biased, but
good.
we have great beer, great food, and of course, like the setting is gorgeous. So
Yeah.
we are often people's first stop when they get off the airplane,
Oh, 'cause
or their last stop when they're on their way to the airport.
Yes.
So
Smart.
Yeah.
That's a smart thing to
Leave a
do.
good taste in your mouth
Yeah, you
after
shouldn't do that.
spending
Yes.
time in Bozeman.
So you're self-titled administrator of many things,
Yeah.
Which could be your LinkedIn profile, or is that like a new category in ZipRecruiter?
who knows? I feel like the brewery world is a lot of making up titles because everybody's so multifaceted and does so many different things. So
Right.
that was sort of the title I acquired a few years ago, and then I had a detour and started working in production. So I was brewing beer for a while, and then 2 years ago I sort of stepped into the role I have now. So on a resume, my title would be COO,
Okay.
but it's,
Yeah.
You do have an official title.
I
just-
do have a more official sounding title.
This is
yes,
informal.
informal title.
That's your informal
Yeah.
title. Well, it makes sense.
We have a flight
We do.
before us.
Yes.
I do want us to play a game
I love that.
called Fight or Flight.
Great.
You get to either drink from the flight or you have to start a fight with somebody.
Okay.
So I think Michelle's going to be starting the majority of the fights because she
I'm
is
allergic to-
celiac and will
Yeah.
not be drinking the beer.
Cool.
But get us started. What should we taste first?
We're going to start at the handle. So this is our Randonnée, our German Pilsner.
Okay.
So if you're sampling beers, you kind of want to go in order of intensity. Things that are really bitter, like an IPA or sours, will kind of blow out your palate, and you'll have a hard time tasting nuances in like more delicate beers, like a Pilsner.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is our German Pilsner.
It's
Randonnée.
almost like eating chicken wings in order of spiciness. You don't want to go to the spiciest wing first. You want to start with the mild.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I should say you're a certified Cicerone?
I'm actually an advanced Cicerone.
An advanced Cicerone.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank
It
you.
sounds very fancy. What is it?
It's just something that sounds fancy.
It sounds very Italian.
Yeah.
It is the Cicerone program is sort of the beer equivalent of a sommelier. And so there's 4 different levels. There's a certified beer server, which we require all of our staff here at MAP that are serving and bartending. We require them to get that. It's just an online exam. And then there's the certified Cicerone, which is the next level up. That one requires a tasting portion. Then there's level 3, which is the advanced Cicerone. So that was a full day exam that included some oral exams, tasting exam, and written essays and things like that. And then there's the master Cicerone. I think there's 28 master Cicerones in the world.
Wow.
So it's like similar to what you hear about the sommelier program. Like it's very hard. The pass rate is extremely difficult. And
Do you want to do it?
that's a great question. My husband would, I like stress myself out. So when I was working on my advanced Cicerone, I would have him take me to like Shine or to the tap room, a place with a bunch of different taps, and I would sit with my back to the wall, and he would blind quiz me on beers. And there were so many times where I couldn't get them right, and I would get so frustrated, and it would just end with me crying. And he's like,
man,
you
crying into your beer, literally.
I know, literally.
Yeah.
Literally. So he would be like, oh, please don't do that. I don't know. I kind of I think
Listen,
I'm pretty
if you
happy.
want to do it,
She's gone.
I'll
She's
support
gone
you.
so far already.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, I'm the person that's like, I'm going to go one more step further. And Joe's always like, yeah, okay. He knows I'm going to get an ulcer, but I'm going to do it.
But you know what? I'm sure it would give me an ulcer. Yeah.
Shall we taste this? Are you good? Okay. And are you going to join in the flight here, Michelle, or start a fight?
I'm allergic. First
Oh,
fight I'd like to
okay.
start is that when you came up with this game, you didn't tell me that we were going to be playing it until I walked in the door. And I looked, and Joe had written himself, just in case he wasn't going to do a tasting, he had written himself a series of jokes because, he's a joke writer and things like that. But then he was like, well, you're so good on your feet.
I feel like
you'll
you're,
be able
you're
to come
at
up
your
with
best
something.
when you have to come up with things on the fly.
I think
No?
that you just wanted me to seem like I wasn't the funny one today, and that's it.
Wait,
That's
so if
all.
you two
Good
are
fight.
fighting, do I get to choose
You can
a
jump
side?
in. Yeah, you can choose a side. It's always me. Always choose me, or else I'll fight with you. All right?
I'm going to try the Randonnée
I'm kidding.
Pilsner. What does Randonnée mean?
It is a French word for a type of skiing.
Okay.
So originally we chose this name. So we're really good friends with the folks over at Bozeman Brewing Company, and they do a Pilsner they call the Pinhead Pilsner. Pinhead being, I'm not a skier, I'm a snowboarder. Oh my God, don't kill me.
There's the fight.
There's
No, I'm kidding.
There's
No,
the
it's
fight.
fine.
So excuse me if I'm getting this wrong, but Pinhead is like the skiing where your toes are fixed, so you've got free heels, so you can like.
Oh, I thought that was telemarking.
Telemarking.
Well, I think that's like
another
Pinhead
term.
is like a nickname
Oh,
or
okay.
like a
It's the same thing.
Got it.
yeah.
Got it.
Randonnée, I think, is where your heels are fixed down to
Oh.
the skis.
This is just normal skiing.
Normal skiing?
Got it.
Right, but yes, but in the backcountry.
Oh,
Listen,
Okay.
I don't like the backcountry.
I want to say that this was like a very specific, nuanced name that
Yeah.
in retrospect we wish we had chose something less obscure.
Interesting. Okay.
Because there's a lot of questions when
It's
people are drinking it.
I
and
love
then you
the
have to-
word. It sounds fun to
Randonnée.
say.
Yeah, I love it.
Randonnée.
Oh,
think that
especially
it's-
for like a little buzz. Say it 5 or 6 times.
I think that it scares people from ordering it.
Oh.
I think
Okay.
that that's like a very
Like it's too fancy.
people are afraid to pronounce it.
Oh.
Like they don't want to get it wrong,
Yeah,
so they're
yeah,
just
yeah.
like,
So they
I'll
don't wanna
have-
say it.
And then they look at that and they want that,
Right,
but then they're like,
Randonnée.
I want something else instead.
Okay.
Got it.
You wanna
Yeah, I
smell
think
this?
it's intimidating.
Maybe backcountry.
Yeah.
That is nice. It's a little fruity.
It's very light, very
Yes.
crisp.
Yes.
This is great.
It's light. It's crisp.
Tell me,
It's good.
tell me, Cicerone, what do you like about this beer?
I like it because I think it has like a nice little bitterness at the end, so it's not like overwhelmingly malty, malt forward, but it does have like a nice kind of bready backbone to it.
Okay.
We
I like bread.
are a craft malt certified brewery, so over 90% of the malt that we use, the barley that goes into our beer, is from Montana. And like the big silos you see outside, those are full of malt from Montana that's malted in Butte at Montana Craft Malt, and we use a lot from our friends over in Churchill at Gallatin Valley Malt as well. So, I mean, you're sort of tasting Montana.
You're
in a
buying
glass.
local when you come here. So
I like how you
have
taste Montana.
Founded an organization called Fermentana and the Beer Maven event. Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Yeah, unfortunately, COVID killed the side hustle. Yeah,
got
so
it.
Fermentina was an events promotions
Okay.
planning business. So my business partner and I, my business partner is Jessie Bustard. She moved back home to Pennsylvania, so she doesn't live in the area anymore.
I got it.
So we started Bozeman Craft Beer Week. So we did that for a few years. We did a lot educational events.
Oh, cool.
But 2020 hit, and
Yeah.
it was
screwed
it was
lots
a
of
side
things up.
hustle for both of us. And I mean, you know, when you have a side hustle and a full-time job, like
Yeah.
all of a sudden, I think COVID was really awful, but gave a lot of people a chance to reassess like life priorities. And I think both of us were like, we're both working like 70 hours a week between our normal job and trying to make this side hustle
too
work.
much.
Like, do we want to pour our heart and soul into making the side hustle full time? And both of us were kind of like,
Nah.
no.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
yeah.
like with Joe, you know, I have a side piece and a full-time husband, and it's like a real hard balance.
I think
Yeah.
side hustle is side piece means that you have another boyfriend. So
Right. That's what I'm saying. No, I'm kidding. Sorry. I was starting to fight. I was starting to fight.
right
we're
now.
not to our next beer yet.
And so the Beer Maven event also kibosh?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that was beer education geared towards women,
Okay.
which I loved. But yeah, it just sort of, fell by the wayside.
Okay.
Wow, but you've moved on to spearheading another upstart, right? You're the Montana Beer Awards.
Yes.
The inaugural competition
Yeah.
is February 22nd to 24th in Helena.
Correct.
Are you the driving force behind this?
Sort of. So I, for years, I've also volunteered on the events committee for the Montana Brewers Association, which is our state guild.
Okay.
Helping put on Brewfest and helping with the conference. And I'm also really passionate about judging beer. And so a few years ago, I brought the idea of doing the Montana Beer Awards to the Montana Brewers Association and said, I think we should do this. The time is right. And that was a couple years ago. They weren't quite ready. And so this past fall, the Brewers Association was like, I think we should give it a go. And
So the MBA
Yep, the
is
MBA.
putting on the MBA.
correct.
You didn't think this through?
You know what? No.
Okay. This is when you bring me in.
Well,
We need different letters.
yeah. I've been trying to figure out how to abbreviate it. I've been testing out MTBA for the Montana Beer Awards.
Okay.
Throw an extra letter in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Separate it. But
It's up to you. It doesn't bother me. It might bother Joe, but he little things like that. He's
The
pretty
Monties?
nitpicky.
You just need a cute
Nitpicky.
name, right?
That's
You
true.
need a cute little nickname.
that's
Stop
true.
it, Joe. Let her do her thing.
All right, let's move on to the next beer.
Next beer. Okay, so it's the 22nd through 24th.
Yeah.
So the judging is taking place the 22nd and 23rd, and the actual award ceremony is the 24th.
Okay. Can anybody come?
Yeah.
Awesome.
It's at Lewis and Clark at their tap room, and they have
It's a great spot.
It's such a cool spot. They're
Yeah.
being so generous in letting us use that space.
Yeah.
They're bringing in a band, which will be super fun. And they're going to have guest taps from all over the state. So they're bringing in some other breweries to participate, and
It'll be a good time.
it
All
will
right.
be a good time.
All right.
I'm
what's
sure Joe will
what's
be there.
next on our
Okay, so next, this is
Light.
one of my favorites. This is the Arnold Schwarzenlager.
Arnold Schwarzenegger? All right.
Which is our Schwarz beer. So this is a dark lager, essentially. So it's a German style, black lager.
Smells very different.
If and when I could drink beer, that was my favorite. I like a real dark.
Would you like to drink some of the flight, Michelle?
No,
or would you
I
like
wouldn't.
to start a fight?
No, I wouldn't. Let's see. I could take issue with you being a snowboarder instead of a skier here in Montana. Why do you feel that you need to strap yourself to one board, and compromise your ankles really when you're going down the mountain? I mean, sure, skiers have knee problems. Anyway, go ahead.
I feel like snowboarder, you're compromising your knees more than anything.
Ooh.
Your ankles are nice and
Shots
protected
fired.
in
That's
those
true.
boots, but you catch an edge and just go straight down on your knees.
Yeah, that's the reason we have Micah here today. Our other camera guy just screwed his knees up snowboarding.
He did.
Yeah.
Anyway, if you want to come to the dark side, we'll help you get down the
Knees,
mountain on
tib,
two
fib
boards.
injuries. Snowboarders, there's some real abuse that happens.
Yeah, and skiers too. I mean, for God's
Well,
sakes.
sure, yeah.
Our neighbor
It's an inherently dangerous
told me a
activity.
story. Yeah, I mean that's why I think I don't do certain things because I've known so many people to have like massive ski injuries, but also they're doing stupid, crazy stuff. They're jumping off cliffs.
I love that he just shoved a beer in your face and you just sniffed it and kept on.
That's how we work.
Oh yeah.
Mid-sentence.
Mid-sentence.
Yeah.
just
Does the same
even-
thing with farts. It's
All right. This is a family podcast, Michelle. Okay.
but no.
Let's get back on track. Why did it take so long to get Montana Beer Awards? We are like third per capita in breweries, per person in the state of Montana versus other states. And in consumption per capita, we're like second in the entire United States.
Yeah.
Well, this seems like a no-brainer.
I mean, starting an event from scratch is stressful and a lot of work, and like the guild, so our state guild does a lot of lobbying. As you know, we have some very strange brewery laws here in the state of Montana,
Sure.
right? So they're always working year after year to like, how do we, play nice with the other the other lobbying groups, but like help Montana brewers. We have such a strong craft beer culture here in Montana. And so a lot of their time and resources is spent on that, on like helping breweries in Montana get the laws that will help them succeed, right? So there's not a ton of extra time, not a ton of extra manpower, woman power on the with the staff. They have a limited staff too. So, it's just kind of like waiting for the right time. And I backed out of my other event planning duties with them on my volunteer work to sort of work on this, since this has been like,
Yeah.
It's
a lot of work.
Big poll.
It's funny because in my head I'm like, I don't know, how hard can it be? And now, so the deadline to register beers is tomorrow.
Yeah.
And I'm fully panicking.
Oh no,
Okay.
in the
Yeah.
weeds. Okay,
Yeah.
got it.
I mean, I hope I look calm, but there is panic inside.
There's that butterfly.
Ooh, yeah.
Like, too
Let
much
us know
going
what we
on.
can do if we need
Yeah.
to strong arm some breweries into
Well,
participating.
Yes.
Knocking on the doors.
So on to the fun side of the beer making. Who is the person who comes up with the names for these fun beers?
Names are surprisingly stressful.
Okay.
Like surprisingly stressful. But names are like sort of a team, everybody like
Pitches in.
pitches in,
and then
has ideas.
It's collaborative.
It very much
effort.
is collaborative.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how does it work? Just like nuts and bolts. Is there a meeting? Are we all tasting it and going, what do we name this? Or do we have a name picked out and then we try to work backward and find the beer that fits that name?
It's usually, wish that we were more organized, but it's usually relatively last minute. Like the beer's ready to go. What do we call it?
I like it.
If we're putting it in a can or something, we obviously need it more
Yeah.
ahead of time so we can order labels and get them designed and all of
Right.
that. But for a lot of the one-offs that we just have on tap, it's very last minute. Everyone's just walking around like, do you have an idea? Do you have an idea?
That's great.
Yeah.
I like that.
Well, the Arnold Schwartz lager is very nice. I like this. This is it's kind of dry, and I like the toasted malts. It's got a good flavor.
Yeah, it's got that little like roasty character, like dark
Yeah.
chocolate, but like not sweet.
Yeah.
Let me smell again.
You want to smell again?
Yes. I only have the nose. I miss beer. It makes I'm actually it's an actual allergy. It
Yeah.
sucks. My hands like swell up and I get neuropathy.
She never saw the old bar that you guys had. They did a major remodel in
Yeah.
here. Talk about that a little bit, because they used to have an island bar so you could walk around either side of it, but now it's all pushed against the kitchen here. What all went into that renovation?
Yeah, lots of planning and discussion, and we so we used to have an island, and the taps were like on either side of the bar. But as we get busier and busier, and especially in the summer, behind the bar was so tight that we really couldn't have more than 2 staff members back there. They're running into each other,
Yeah.
spilling things.
Breaking glasses.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, it's like sort of dangerous,
Yeah.
right? Like, so in order to be able to hopefully staff some more people behind the bar so that we can provide like better and more service, we needed to expand it. And then we also added some taps, which gives us a little more flexibility and fun. So we used to have 16, now we have 20.
Yeah. It's a lot of taps.
It's an impressive array. Plus the giant sign
Yeah.
Everything was a little bit more
Do you
fly
want to
by
know
night
something
before.
funny? Is that the sign is exactly the same size as it was before.
No way.
Yeah.
You're so stupid.
I'm fighting words.
But yeah, I guess it's the labels that make it
Yes.
feel bigger.
Yeah, so before it had, I mean, it was really cool. It had some kind of like mural-y stuff on it, but the signs were much smaller. It was harder to read, and because we're rotating stuff so frequently, it's really nice to just have it bigger so that people can see it from anywhere. And
Yep.
a little more streamlined with our branding and stuff. So
Absolutely. All right, let's move on to the next
okay,
I have a fight thing.
cerveza.
So the Mexican party lager. I have a Cuban friend that moved here, and I bought a big thing of Mexican party lager because it's a good, Joe loves it. Everybody likes that beer. Why the racist name? I'm kidding. He was joking with us. He was like, "Oh, so you bought that because I'm Hispanic?" Anyway, but why is it a Mexican party lager? And why are you so racist? I mean,
we
kidding. I'm joking.
really do our best to be inclusive here.
you're like, "Oh God, what's I stepping in?"
Mexican lager is a style of like, it sort of falls into the bigger
Corona.
category. Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Like,
It's
lagers,
easy for a white person to say.
Is it Dos Equis is the other one?
light lagers that have their roots in being brewed in Mexico.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So it's a style that typically includes corn in
Okay.
the malt bill as well. So, or in the grain bill. So
So when you guys tasted it, or did you purposely make it to make a beer that was that style?
yeah. So
Okay.
typically we'll have a style in mind, and then we'll craft the recipe around that. So wanting to brew a Mexican lager, wanting to include a little corn, it gives it this kind of sweetness that almost tastes like a corn tortilla-ish.
Nice.
Like that kind of grainy corn character.
Yeah, people
Yeah.
love it. It's a great river beer too.
Yeah.
What is
Okay.
this? It smells so good.
This is the Tram Cabin.
Okay.
So yeah, this is the beer that we partnered with Big Sky for this year.
Aromatic.
Yeah, the nose is
Yeah.
fantastic on this.
Yeah, so that's a lot of those like fruity tropical hops coming through. kind of
Yeah.
pineapple, mango character.
That's it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
this
love
one.
Makes me
I love
sad. I
smelling
can't
it.
have it.
Yeah. This is what I've been drinking a lot lately. Although the older I get, I'm always like want lower ABVs.
Yeah.
Like I would rather drink 3 beers of a lower ABV than 1 beer of a higher ABV.
Oh, that is
I just-
not Joe's story. That is, he is actually the opposite. I think
I just
the
want
older
it
you've
to
gotten,
taste good. And I'll start a fight. My favorite beer right now is Muley Buck from Kettle
Is
House.
that- yeah, Kettle House.
The Mosaic IPA.
Oh, yeah.
Why do we ever use any hops other than Mosaic and Citra?
You know
They're
what's
the
so
best.
funny that you say that is Mosaic is like people either love or hate Mosaic.
Oh, it's a
Yeah.
palate thing.
It is.
And I wasn't a big fan. But
Until the
lately,
Muley Buck.
yeah, it's so good.
It is so good.
Not
Yeah.
I'm not
Wow,
saying
Joe. Wow.
I'm not taking a shot at the Matt beers, which are very strong across the board.
Yeah.
I think the best in the area.
Midas
Oh,
Crush
thank you.
is like
Mine,
your
that's the
absolute
one.
jam.
Yeah, I would take. I take Midas Crush with me when I go to visit people, so that they can try it and say, oh, okay, well, you guys are drinking really good beers in Bozeman.
Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah. No,
But
that's- we
this
always
is
have
really-
Midas Crush in our fridge.
I heard that this brewery was based, like when it was being built, was based loosely on a brewery in Chicago. Is that true?
Oh, not really, not the style of it.
Okay.
So our owner, Patrick Keynes,
PK.
PK, yes. His family owns a brewery in Chicago. And so when he was younger, living in Chicago, him and his brothers started this brewery. What's super cool is that his family history is just incredible. Like I told him I was going to quit my job here and write his family history in a book, but his family owned a brewery in Chicago pre-Prohibition.
Oh, cool.
And then during Prohibition, they converted to dairy. So a lot of breweries during Prohibition.
Sure they did. Converted to dairy.
Converted to
Unlikely
dairy,
story.
yeah. But what's cool is his wife and him, will try and find antique, Cane's dairy things. So I have this really cool old Cane's Dairy bottle up in the office, and we actually modeled some map merch off of that design from the like 40s or 50s.
That's
Awesome.
Really neat.
So they converted to dairy, and then when his brothers were young, I think in the early 90s, they decided to start a brewery in Chicago, and his brothers currently still are running that brewery in Chicago. It's called the Wild Onion Pub.
Okay.
That's good to know.
Yeah.
Awesome. And where did MAP come from as the name?
They were tossing around some ideas early on, and they did kind of a road trip of Montana to check out other breweries and just like get inspiration. And as they were driving, they were like, gosh, you like need a map to have an adventure. Mm-hmm. Like whether it's Google Maps or like the old school, you've got your atlas and you're just randomly driving on a different road. And they were like, the best adventures happen when you have a map. Mm-hmm. And then they were like, that's a good name. Does anyone have it? And no one had it. So
Yeah.
It is a great name.
Yeah, here we
and
are.
I like the concept. Yeah.
So short, and it allows you to kind of theme things out
Yeah.
yeah.
as
And
you have.
you guys were started by a bunch of home brewers. Did that prepare you at all for this commercial brewery? I mean, not
Lori
that it's
herself,
time. Yes.
home brewer.
Home brewer,
I said
yes.
you guys, and gals. You guys is like a broad term.
Yeah. And I was not part of the opening crew. So I started with MAP about a year into MAP's existence. But like PK, started a commercial brewery with his brothers, and our head brewer Doug had worked at other commercial breweries. So even though they had home brewing backgrounds, they definitely also had
Knew how to do this.
Yep.
Right.
Had commercial brewing experience. So.
Cool.
And our sales rep Howie is absolutely incredible. I mean, he's a huge reason like you see MAP everywhere that you go.
Yeah, you need that.
Yeah, he's out there with MAP in the
Getting in the
field. So,
stores,
yeah,
getting in the brewery,
Yep.
restaurants,
Yeah,
etc.
certainly very
It's-
upfront and present in
Yeah.
bars in the area.
And what's
Yeah.
cool, something that I'm very
Big
proud
Sky
of, is that
business.
we self-distribute. So we're the largest self-distributing brewery in the state of Montana. So every MAP beer that you see out in the field, whether it's cans or on draft somewhere, is delivered by someone that works for MAP. It's, our sales reps work for us, and we're in charge of like keeping our lines clean and our stock rotated so we can like really make sure that our product is the best product out there.
And it's a lot more work.
It's a lot more work.
But, speaking to my friend who owns a restaurant, he said, well, but that allows MAP to charge us less, and it makes it easier for us to say, absolutely, yes, you can have these 3 handles or whatever. So
Yeah.
worth the extra work to get beer in people's mouths. Speaking of, what's our final beer?
Okay, our final beer. So we went from like the lightest, a little bit of roast, but still light,
Yep.
to our kind of hoppy, slightly more bitter beer. And so now we're going to end with the sour.
Okay.
So this will like hit you in the Sour Patch Kids back here. When you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I know that.
Which one is this?
This is the Speedy G,
Speedy G.
our margarita sour.
Margarita sour. Still
Oh.
has gluten.
Still has gluten.
Okay.
Yep. Our sours have.
Making sure Michelle's
I
gonna have
told
to
him.
start another fight.
I told him. I'm right. I'm right like 95% of the time.
What were you right about,
Joe
Michelle?
does something where he likes to, and I don't like the term mansplaining, but it's exactly that. With most things in our life, Joe will tell me like just very, very point blank, this is how this is. And I'm like, no, it's really not actually. And then usually within the hour we find out it was the way that I told him.
I really
but
just
he's
do it. I
so
don't-
secure and he's so confident in whatever the hell he's talking about. It blows my mind.
But I still get that moment where I feel like I'm right, even when I'm not. And that's really all I need. After that, I've moved on. I've got.
Meanwhile, the rest of the day, I'm just flying high. I'm just like, I knew this whole time I was right. I'm going to remind you while you're opening the fridge for a glass of water, I'm going to tell you I was right again. But yeah, no, that's all. That's the only fight I have. And I don't have a fight with you at this point because you told me you're Midwestern and you don't like fights. We both lived in South Dakota for a little time there. You probably weren't alive when I was living there, though, because I was thinking 4 years old until I was 7. So that would have been, the
80,
80s.
81 to 83.
Yeah. No, 82. No, 81. You're right. Math.
I was
But yeah.
born in '84, so
You were.
we just missed each
We
other.
just missed each other. I was leaving.
Yeah.
But yeah, I lived in Rapid City, Air Force, all the things. But it was a great place, and we've
a great
driven
place.
through there a couple of times on our road trips. We stopped at a burger place there. Remember that? There's like a really good burger place. The downtown area is like beautiful now.
It's cute. Yeah, they've done a lot in the last few years.
Yeah.
Yeah, my whole family's there still. So.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So you get to go back.
Yep.
Nice.
This is great.
Yeah.
I'm
Smell it again.
enjoying it. Yeah. Smell again. You guys are doing awesome work here, and I hope that everybody who's watching this and listening to our podcast will come grab a delicious chicken sandwich and try some beer here at MAP.
The chicken sandwiches, man, they're the main thing here.
Talk of the town.
They're
People
so
talk.
good.
They're like, the beer's great, but you gotta try the chicken sandwich.
I know. Last year, 2023, we sold over 12,500 chicken sandwiches.
Wow.
Like, that's bananas. People love that chicken sandwich. It's great. I love it also.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good to know.
It's good.
I'm here for the sandwiches and the beer.
And the beer.
Congratulations on all of your work getting the Montana Beer Awards started.
Yeah.
And
Get to
hopefully we have
Helena
a good-
February
good
22nd
turnout.
through 24th.
Who are you liking? You know who's signed up at this point, brewery wise. Who do you think is going to have success there?
I have no idea. That's
Who is signed up?
oh gosh.
Are you able to talk about
I
it?
think we have 30 breweries signed up right now.
Wow. What
And-
local Bozeman ones are going?
So far, I've got entries from, I think, MAP, Bozeman Brewing, Bridger Brewing, and Outlaw.
Okay.
Nice.
And I've talked to folks at other breweries around the state. A lot of people with beer, people wait till the last minute because they oh, maybe this beer will be ready by then. So,
Oh, right.
but that's part of where the internal panic's coming from.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Got
but
it.
we're expecting to have like around 250 entries, maybe a little less than that.
All right.
Oh.
And we have judges coming from Colorado, Utah, Oregon, Canada. So we have some really high level judges coming to judge, which
Yeah.
is super exciting.
That is.
To give our
You're going,
people the
aren't you?
feedback. So
Yeah.
I
go.
may be in Whitefish on the 24th, so I could stop by.
come on by.
I might
Check
have
it
to.
out. I think it'll be really fun. I think, it being kind of the off season for like Brewfest and stuff, I'm really hoping that a lot of breweries come and celebrate themselves and the great work that they're doing and celebrate each other. I think it'll be like a good sort of camaraderie building.
Yeah.
We're such a broad state geographically that there's not a ton of opportunities for us to connect with breweries from Miles City or from Whitefish, and so kind of
Yeah.
trying to bring everybody together just to like hang out and be like, good job. I
Right.
think it'll be great.
Yeah. It's all creatives.
Yeah.
Good
Well,
work.
Well, thank you for your time
Yeah,
today.
Thank
we'll do an
you.
update after the awards and see how it went.
Great.
Yes.
Yes.
All right. And
Feel
you
free to
guys-
come on by.
Joe's going to drink her beer after the.
I'm going to get a pint of this after. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thanks, you guys.
Let's enjoy the rest of
All right.
it, and Michelle can keep starting fights.
Yep.